Hey guys, we had to hold. It's not apparently where the cops said there was flooding. That was last night. It's not going on now. So we've got limited LTE data. Once we get some viewers, I'll walk you guys over to where the doors are on the business. And there's somebody from the fire department. They just went out to check the also the railroad not long ago, going out and checking it. Try to show you here. Whoops. There's the stop or the street light everybody was asking about. I don't see a chat. I'm not going to try this to see what it says. Get chat working. Hopefully you guys can see. Stream very slow data. What I'm doing is I'm shooting a time lapse of the water coming up on that street light. So I'll be here for another hour or so shooting time lapse. I'm going to close it up so they don't run the battery down. The railroad bridge is still. You guys can see it. This is the parking lot that you guys were seeing yesterday that had the wrought iron fence in it. And over there is where you can see part of the split rail fence that has come up out of the ground. That's the railroad bridge. We've been removed from the bridge for safety reasons. It's still open for vehicular traffic. They don't want the pedestrian traffic because too many people were bringing their kids out, jumping out into traffic. Do you guys see video? Of course it's poor quality. We're streaming on a 3G connection. Wow. The Verizon tower, according to their engineers, is underwater. So we should be happy to have any data connection. We need your time. We need your pleasure. But if you want to donate, you can do that. All right, we're back, guys. Okay, so yeah, here we go. I remember that over there was on a huge hill, and whereas the 10-foot tall, when we first started streaming, the water was down much lower. I don't know how long we're going to have data. I am still shooting a time lapse. There's the railroad bridge there. It's still there. I'm about 100 yards from the bridge right now. This is the bridge where we were streaming from earlier. The police have gotten all the pedestrian traffic off of it because people were bringing their kids out. And their kids kept dropping out into. They were getting their kids. They were jumping out into traffic. I will be posting later tonight when I get back to the hotel. Some of the videos that I'm shooting, the timing. When I talked to the Verizon people, I got kicked upstairs, I think 4 or 5 times to their senior technical engineers, and what they told me is that the tower we're on here is underwater. There is no 4G. I'm running off a 3G connection, and every now and then it drops to 1x. The railway bridge is still there. I'm not going to zoom in because you won't be able to see it. So anyway, the original thing that they told me was that I was being throttled. In the last couple of days, I've used 40 gigabytes of data, and I was only allowed 22 on my unlimited plan before they would throttle. So I had to up to the 75 gigabyte plan, and it still didn't work. Chris, do you have video at all? Anyway, I had to get up to the 75 gigabyte plan, and it didn't help. But 75 gigabyte plan costs a lot. I love how they call it an unlimited plan, but they throttle you. Guys, my camera's over there by the railroad berm, so I'm just standing where I can watch it. The railroad people, engineers have been here. They drove up in a railroad truck on the tracks, got up there and looked at it. They looked concerned. Bethany, we're not being throttled now. There is no 4G. The senior engineer technical people at Verizon said that their tower here is underwater. And everybody here who has Verizon is having the same issues. There's no Verizon 4G. AT&T is still working, and some of the bonded cellular streaming solutions that people have are still working on the AT&T network. But I don't have a SIM card for AT&T to put in this phone, so I can't change. I don't know how to just do audio, guys. As I get and lose data, I'll come on. Earlier when we got asked to leave the bridge, the police officers was one of the ones I'd given a Red Bull to last night. And he was nice about it. He told me where there was flooding going on last night, and there were actually some rescues. But when we talked further, he found out there was nothing going on over there in that neighborhood. So I've stayed here, and actually what I'm doing right now is I'm shooting, way above Matthew Max, guys. It didn't come near the bridge, the metal part of the bridge. I'm shooting a time lapse of the water rising on the our famous light pole that we've been looking at, that street light, and also huge pieces of debris are going by. So all of that stuff, when I get back to the hotel tonight, they were able to get me another room. Thank you to the Homewood Suites. Somebody checked out early, so I was able to stay. Once I get back to where there's internet, I will upload the 4K footage that we're shooting. And guys, I'm actually just standing here to stand in the shade. It is real sunny today and real hot. And I found that the cellular is actually working here in this spot. So as long as we have the cellular working. Does anybody see a picture at all, or is it just audio? All right, so I don't know if anybody's seeing a picture. What I'm looking at right now is I'm looking down into the parking lot. I can't post anything while I'm streaming. Okay, so I'm gonna go into trying to be a radio announcer. Good afternoon. No, what I'm doing is I'm standing here where we were standing yesterday. If you remember when I was standing next to the tree with Chuck Holton and his daughter Amy, when you guys saw them. The parking lot that we saw yesterday is completely inundated with water. The black picket fence is gone. We can't see that at all. The telephone pole with the street light on it, the water is about, looks like about less than a foot from the bottom where it mounts. Behind me, the fishing tackle place, the garage door has another foot to go before it hits the top plate. and the other door that you can get in and out of, which I believe was actually higher, to 2 feet below the top of that door. I don't know how tall. The spot where the water. Remember yesterday we were looking and thought we saw a place that had originally, or before, like they had taken out a propane tank and there were some propane lines. Those lines are completely obscured now. They're underwater. And the white propane tank that was way up on the berm, the white one that was up on the berm is gone, and the water is encroaching on the footing of that white propane tank. The Person Street Bridge that we were on earlier this morning and yesterday is still open to vehicles. They've taken all the pedestrians off. People were bringing their kids out here, and the kids were jumping up and down, running around, and a couple of them actually stepped out into traffic. So the pedestrians off. We're not allowing any pedestrians on the bridge. My truck is fine. It is right now, and there are places to get out. They don't expect this bridge to. They don't expect to be washed out. However, the concrete pilings on that bridge look like they now have about 3 feet before the horizontal metal pieces, the steel pieces of the bridge. Look like there's no getting hit the same way that. And now I'm looking back at the railroad bridge. There's still debris piling up on it. The water is still. Looking at the railroad bridge now, there is still debris piling up on it. The water is still slowly rising on it. Haven't heard any sounds of any distress from the bridge. Earlier this morning, sometimes we were hearing the creaking of the metal under stress. There hasn't been any of that. There were some railroad company people that drove up in a truck and looked at it. There were also some railroad people came from the other side. Looked like they were structural engineers, and they were looking at it. I don't know how the Weather Channel's been allowed to stay on the bridge. I was standing next to the Weather Channel, and they told the Weather Channel to leave too. The screen is black. The screen is black because we're on 3G or 1X. The Weather Channel's using a bonded cellular device called a Live View, and they've got 2 SIM cards on the AT&T network, which is still working. The Verizon LTE is gone, according to Verizon's engineers. When I talked to them, they said that this tower is underwater, and so there is no Verizon LTE right now. And guys, I think as we have data, once I stop this live stream, I think it will upload and would be in HD. I'm not sure, but hopefully later you'll be able to see the video that we're talking about. Thanks, Kevis. Yeah, Chris. All right, I've used the Live View service in the past. I used it in Waco, Texas, when they had the explosion of the grain elevator. It's very expensive, and if we're going to do this streaming in the future, there's going to have to be a way to have an income stream, because it was several $100s a day to use that service in the past.
Yeah, I was just here the other day, 2 days ago. Let's go across the bridge and check this out.
So you guys have video? Okay, there. If you got video on right now, you can see there's that.
Look at the river.
There's that building. Right down here is where. That's where down here underwater is where those pipes were for gas pipes. The white propane tank there, remember it's up on a real tall berm, and the water's up to, slowly zoom in. You guys can see where the water is here. Remember, yet, if you still have video, I'm going to try to zoom into the bridge here. That is the, it had subsided, but now, lately, and I'm shooting a time lapse, it shows it screaming by. We've got a lot of trees that still have green leaves coming back. Yeah, we've got a bad signal here, guys. A real bad signal. There's no 4G, and we keep going back between 3G and 1X. I'm going to try walking back over to where the camera is and see if we can get a signal over there. So are you guys cooking to sell it, or what y'all cooking for? Y'all are cooking to stay in business here? Selling? All right.
Hamburgers.
Right?
Yeah.
Have any power, but they fired up. What do you got? Or you got gas?
We got propane tanks on the. So all of our drinks and all that stuff in there is hooked up to generators. You know, everything's cold.
Cool.
And so we're out here cooking some chicken and plates and hamburger plates and all that for everybody.
Smell. Man.
All right.
You guys do have audio, I guess, so right? Yeah, so right now I'm streaming on 1X. I'm streaming on 1X. Really, it must have gone back to 3G then. I'll try to show you. There's our light pole. You're welcome, Chili. So there's a big log passing by. I'm gonna let my, no, Jody, I actually have my phone registered with that. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the towers underwater. My phone's registered with FEMA. Something underwater just hit that light pole, and it's really rocking back and forth now. That's happened several times today. It's sitting still, and then all of a sudden it just starts rocking violently. So there's apparently submerged debris that's coming. Yeah, Bob, we're streaming on either 3G, or sometimes it drops down to 1X here. There's no more 4G. So after another half an hour or an hour of running this, I'm going to let it go till my battery's dead. I got about 15% of my battery on the big camera, which is here. Actually, it's a little camera, but it's bigger than the iPhone. And what I'll do, I'm going to open up the screen and see if you guys can see the close-up of the stuff going by. So this is shooting 2 frames per second. It's still damming up water, but it's still there. So you guys remember that? We saw that whole light pole yesterday, and I watched the water come up steadily. So this camera is shooting a 2 frame per second time lapse as stuff goes. So once I run out the battery on the big camera, I've got another one charging in the truck. The plan is to go somewhere else, maybe downtown, find somewhere else if there's flooding happening, that I can either shoot more video and hopefully be able to get a cell service that will let us stream again. Okay, I don't know if I've told you this. An official came and told me a while ago they are now expecting the crest of the river to be at 2 in the morning. They pushed it back nearly 24 hours. The river has not crested, and they expect it to keep rising till 2 in the morning now. So that's been revised this morning. Originally, they were saying that it would crest at 8 a.m., and now they're saying 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. The railroad bridge is still there. Just a little bit. I'm going to try zooming in. There's the bridge I was standing on earlier. Apparently that bridge is 30 to 35 feet above the water on a normal day. I'm standing in the car park. So apparently 2 more feet of water. Guys, we're lucky to be getting even an audio signal out of here with the data that there's available right now. Has anybody seen if there's water downtown yet? If you guys can search and see if there's any water downtown. If there is, I'll go ahead and stop shooting this and I'll go downtown and see if we can get a signal down there and show you guys what's going on. Rodney, it doesn't matter anything about 5G or 5 watt or any of that. If the cell tower is underwater, you can't you can't get any service. So anyway, if you guys can take a look at the news reports or the flood maps, and if you see that there's anything underwater downtown, here and go look for it. Here for you. Well, Rodney, there's no hard line. The local spectrum is down too. This is a disaster area, guys. Oops. So that's our famous light pole there. Over the last few minutes, I haven't seen as much debris going downstream. Oops. Yeah, isn't that unreal? Apparently that light pole is like 20 feet tall, is what I've been told. You guys come up with a light pole, a name for it. Yeah, you're looking at the Person Street Bridge right now. That is the Person Street Bridge. Guys, I'm going to have to grab the power cable for the phone. I'm powering the phone with a lithium iron phosphate battery that is made by a company called Bioenno Power. They're friends of ours. So I'm not going to be able to move around too much. When I move around, we lose the video and we lose cell service. They asked us to get off the bridge. I don't know why they allowed the Weather Channel to stay up there. They told us, I was right there with them when they told us to get off. Now the bridge is still open to traffic. What was happening, and this is conjecture on my point, but what I saw happening was a lot of people were bringing their kids out there, and the kids were getting rambunctious. I saw a couple of them be careless and step out in front of traffic. And as soon as the kids were getting out in traffic, that's when the cops came and brought the tape and told everybody to get off the bridge. Chile, I don't know how to get to Lumberton right now. And the story that we know is happening is here. I don't know what's happening in Lumberton. Yeah, CBS has got a drone flying here. Trying to make it so I can support the phone here on the tripod so you guys can see. Thank you, Michelle. Kingman, go back in the stream and look at it. Yeah, I'm trying to make the phone stay here on the tripod, but it's being an issue. Stand by. Working on it, guys. No, it's not going to work. The Fayetteville Observer says downtown is flooding. Bye, Omar. Yes, that's the car park, Numa. The railroad tracks are, I'm actually here where I am taller than the railroad tracks. My head's higher than the railroad tracks. You see where I'm standing. I'm standing about a foot above the flood water. There's a lot more debris that's going down. There's a lot more debris that's going down the river here. All right, guys, I think I'm going to end this live stream. I've got my battery's dead on the Fort Town. Hopefully there'll be another cell tower. For watching. With the coverage, kind of expensive doing this, and I should be out shooting footage for my for stock footage. Joseph, I know nothing about the pigs. You're free to Google that and ask. I'm out here streaming and don't have access to Google. You guys do. It's not that hard. It's google.com, and you can ask. And another big, huge tree going down that actually still has green leaves on it. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.